So today I'm gonna be telling you guys the story of why me and my baby daddy are no longer together. So me and him moved in together when my daughter was about 8 months old. So for 8 months, I would actually be the one just taking care of her. He would just go over after work, but the one struggling would have to be me because my daughter, when she was small, she wouldn't sleep at all. She was those type of babies that wouldn't sleep all night. She would actually be up all night, and we would end up going to sleep at 7 in the morning, and I didn't know how to put her to sleep. She would be crying, but she would sleep all day, and I didn't know what to do, so I would be stressed out all the time. I would actually go to sleep crying sometimes about how hard it was. I never got that help from him. When she was a baby, I would do it all by myself. There was this just one time that my mom actually let him sleep over even though we had a baby, and he actually slept all night. I invited him over so he could help me and I could get some rest, but it was the other way around. He got all the sleep and I didn't get nothing at all. So I just didn't even bother to tell him anything, or yeah. So when we were gonna move in, we were actually gonna get a trailer to live in his parents' backyard. But when it came to moving out, we got the trailer, but instead his parents gave us the room and they kept the trailer, so we would actually live in the house. It was nice living there, but we would always be stuck in the room because we used to live with his aunt and uncle, and they had 3 kids. And not to say anything bad, but those kids were bad. That's why we would always be stuck in the room. So the only thing we would go out of the room for was for me to cook or to clean or just to go out, but we wouldn't be able to get out of the room. And then we would kind of argue about there was always an argument about how the other person in the house wasn't a clean person, and I would always like to have my side of the kitchen clean because we would have half and half of the kitchen, and the other person wasn't clean, so they would get ants. And I honestly hate ants. And once I would see them start going to my side of the kitchen, it would piss me off because I tried everything to keep my side clean, and sometimes I would even wake up at 2 in the morning and I would go in the kitchen and I would start seeing ants, and I would be literally killing ants at 2, 3 in the morning. Now I understand when my mom would always tell me that saying that there's nothing better than living by yourself with your own family, because if you live with your in-laws or family members, there's always going to be problems and arguments. That's why I understand what my mom would tell me. All we would do when he would get home was just watch soccer games. We would actually enjoy soccer games, but it got to the point where months would pass by and we would be just in the room the whole day. The only time we would go out was to get food, or on Sundays when we would go out as a family. But it got to the point where I actually started getting depressed, and I don't know what was it, if it was anxiety or I don't know what caused it, but I started getting bad headaches from my forehead to the top of my head. I even ended up going to a neurologist, and I would get medication from them from how bad it was. And sometimes I would feel like I wanted to pass out. I would be sitting in the room and I would run out, and maybe because I was scared, I would start panicking really bad. I would call everyone, my mom, my sister, and there was a couple times that I did call the ambulance, and they would come and they would check my heart and everything. And I ended up going to the clinic and all that, so I I start feeling bad, and I couldn't be just in a room. And but that's something that he didn't understand, but because he didn't know what I was feeling inside, like no one knew, and it was bad. Like, so one day I talked to him, but I don't think he understand where I was coming from. Um so I got my things, and I actually moved in back with my mom, but not because I wanted to. I wanted to leave him. It's because of the way I would feel. It was like the worst feeling that no one could understand. It was horrible. I was stuck. Like, I honestly don't know how to explain it. So we hadn't even broke up or anything, but months were like passing by. We would still go out as a family. We would still talk. And then the day March 7, 2017, we went out as a family, and we went to Buffalo Wild Wings. He had just gotten a new phone, because before we went there, we had gone to the mall so he could get a new phone. And the whole time we were eating, he was just on his phone, and I would tell him, leave your phone. And he would say, I'm just moving the stuff from one phone to the other. I said, okay, let's eat. You could do that later. And then right after we left, when we were about to head home, we stopped at a gas station, and he had gotten off to go pump gas. So I just looked at his phone to see what was the time, and I seen a message from one girl that when we were going out, when we would break up, he would go with her. And that honestly broke me inside, because that day, God knows that I was gonna tell him for us to fix everything and get back together. But I seen that message, and on the way home I confronted him about it. And I would always be the one to fix the problems, and this time, since he messed up, I expected him to fix it. All I wanted him was to be like, I'm sorry, I messed up. But all I got was, oh well. And that's the thing that hurts the most, that he didn't even like try at all. So I just left it right there, and he dropped me off home, and I expected for him to like think through whatever he did and say sorry because of what he was doing. I would have totally forgave him, but that's not the way things went. So months went by, and the sorry never came. Instead, he decided to move on with his life, throw away 6 years down the trash, and go out with that girl, the same girl he was talking to. And he would still deny to me, nothing's going on, there's no girl, no nothing. And so that's how things ended till this day, 3 years later. It's just me with my daughter, and I have her most of the time. Maybe he has her just on the weekends, but that's how things are. We do get along, but once that other person interferes, it's just trouble until we finally talk about it. But that's my story. Thank you for watching. I'll be having other stories, reviews, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you.